front of the post. Brian Gaynor to hit it 35 metres out or thereabouts. Shooting into the Temple Hill into the ground and making no mistake, so Tipperary go ahead once again, 3 points to 2. Anthony Nash's puck out into the wind is a very long ball into that very strong wind. It breaks down to the Cork right half forward on Conway, and that's a very good point from Owen Conway. Conway picking up the loose ball from the puck out that was broken down there onto the left hand and straight over the bar. Good score for Cork, 3 points apiece in Páirc Rinn. Brendan Walsh breaking this down for Cork, but whipped into the centre. Going as far as Declan Maher, and Declan Maher, the substitute for Tipperary, gets a very good point from out on the sideline. Had to work hard to win that ball in the first place, and then from right on the touchline, outside the 45-metre line, that's a very good score from Declan Maher. Páirc Slevin tries to get it for Tipperary, but the ball eventually goes to Owen Conway. Firing this one in low, broken down and blocked there by Damien O'Brien. And the referee is calling for the ball here, and I think he's going to award the free to Cork, yes indeed. So, free to Cork from straight in front of the post, Dan Dineen to hit it. Dineen drives it hard but over the bar. Just for a moment I thought he was tempted to have a go at a goal there, but he hit it hard, but it went over the bar, so 4 points apiece. Shane McGrath hitting a good ball across field. Páirc Slevin tried to get onto it. Runs inside to Simon Everard. Beaten for the ball by Rory McCarthy, and Cork go back into the attack. Down as far as Rory O'Doherty. He's beaten for the ball. Owen Conway nips in there. Conway with the ball in his hand. 35 metres out, onto the left, and Owen Conway fires in his second point of the game. That's a very good score by Owen Conway. And Cork lead 5 points to 4. There turns onto the left hand and over the bar. Cork once again back in the attack. Dan Dineen, ball going down as far as Owen Conway into the corner to Seamus Hayes. Seamus Hayes, very quick player, but this one well blocked down by the cornerback Brian Lawler, and there's a resulting free there by Evan Hanley on the Cork player. So Pat Moore having to have a word, and he's having the word actually with Shane Sweeney. So it's a free into Cork, and once again Darren Dineen making no mistake with this one. 6 points to 4. Cork lead, and there you can see the strength of the wind and Cork playing into it. They'll be delighted with the score as it stands at the moment. There's a great cut for Tipperary into the square to Brian Gaynor, and the referee says that Liam Hayes was holding his jersey, and so it's a free into Tipperary. Brian Gaynor putting this ball down. Páirc Slevin, I think, might fancy a go at this one, and you just get the feeling that he might go and try and blast this one. Páirc Slevin taking over the free taking duties from Brian Gaynor. Cork lined up, all prepared for this blaster, and Anthony Nash saves it, and the clearance is completed by Liam Hayes. Goes out as far as the right half forward, Pat Buckley, and he fires it outside the post and wide. So here's the free once again. There's Slevin driving it hard, and now Anthony Nash gets his hurley to it, and there's Liam Hayes lashing it out of defence. Pulled by Tyke Healy, goes as far as Páirc Slevin. Tide 11. Good ball in for Tipperary, and that's a very fine point by the centre forward. Good score from Tide 11. Boris Kane man just leaving a point between the sides once again. On the run and over the bar. That's good hurling. Anthony Nash. This one lands in the centre. Timmy Lorden shortens the hurley and clips it away up the right hand side of the field, and there's a foul on Conway, so it's a free in, and Darren Dineen once again making his way over to hit this one. 40 metres out, 15 in from the sideline. Dineen drilling this one into the wind and straight over the bar once again, so Cork lead by 7 points to 5. 3 minutes to go to half time. Cork once again, Paul McGrath. Still Paul McGrath going through. He's on the 20-metre line, gets the hand pass to Seamus Hayes, and the referee has pulled back the play. Seamus Hayes actually hit the bar, but thought he should have maybe given the advantage there to Cork. Paul McGrath had wriggled his way in the centre. Eventually got the pass off to Seamus Hayes, but the referee had blown the whistle free into Cork. Dan Dineen once again. This looks an easy one. Would he be tempted to go low? He does, and it's stopped on the goal line by the keeper, and it's double saved there, this time by the fullback Damien O'Brien, and Tipperary scrambled away to safety by Michael Phelan. It was a great save by Dermot Hogan first, but Cork come back into the attack. Paul McGrath lofting this one in, and this one has gone outside the posts and wide, so that'll give Tipperary a lot of heart in the run up to half time. Great save by Dermot Hogan, and Hogan tucking this one out. Well pulled in there by Brian Hogan. Comes as far as John Leahy, who has just been introduced onto the Tipperary team, and with his very first touch of the game drives this one over the bar. So John Leahy enters the fray just before half time. First touch, picking this one up out in front of Liam Hayes and driving it over the bar is a very good point. As Pat Moore calls for the ball in the centre of the field, decides to throw this one in. Only wants 2 players there. Owen Conway, first on to the ball. Going as far as Colin O'Reilly. Colin O'Reilly beaten to the ball there by Shane Maher. Referee blows the whistle. And he's going to award a free out, obviously, there to Tipperary. Cornerback Mike Phelan will take this one. Very near half time, Cork with a 1 point advantage. Phelan hits the free, and Pat Moore decides there's no more time in this first half, so at the break here in Páirc Ring in the Munster Intermediate Final, it's Cork who lead Tipperary by 7 points to 6. Second half underway, and Tipperary first to break away, but Ty Keeley for Cork breaking up the play. Whipped along there by Dan Dineen in towards the corner, well taken by Michael Phelan. Good clearance by the Tipperary corner back, and I think the linesman has blown to, or has signalled that the ball was actually out over the line, so it's a line ball to Cork. Feeling unlucky there because he had done very well to get that clearance away, and Ty Keeley to take the sideline ball for Cork just inside the 45 metre line, cuts it across field. Paul McGrath onto the ball. McGrath driving this one in for Cork, and he has driven it over the bar. He scored one very good point in the first half, and he has scored Cork's first point in the second half and has put them 2 points ahead. Jonathan Alden with a great catch in the centre of the field. Still Alden, shortens the hurling, driving it up the centre. Again Michael Phelan doing very well, tipping that ball away, but the referee says that the centre back Shane Mahafold, Darren Dineen, is hashing up free against the Tipperary centre back, but it has resulted in a Cork free straight in front of the post on the 45 metre line. Darren Dineen again. He's been brilliantly accurate with frees in the first half against the wind. This is his first free with the wind, straight in front of the post, same result, straight over the bar. So Cork open up a 3-point lead here in Páirc Rinn. Free to Cork. Desi Fitzgerald. Long free, dropping right in front of the post. Seamus Hayes keeps it in play as far as Colin O'Reilly. Colin O'Reilly dodging around and eventually getting it onto his right hand, and O'Reilly has hit another point for Cork. Colin O'Reilly. Seamus Hayes did a lot of good work keeping that ball in play, and O'Reilly, making a bit of space for himself, eventually swung it right-handed over the bar from just about the 13 metre line. Ball up the centre, Declan Maher. Declan Maher onto the left hand. Shot is a very poor one. Anthony Nash dashes from goal. Tyke Slevin tries to get away from Nash, completes the clearance. Goes as far as Dan Dineen. Dan Dineen firing it in towards goal. Runs all the way through to the keeper, Dermot Hogan, and Dermot Hogan bursting his way out through the Cork players there. The referee has blown his whistle, and he's deemed that the goalkeeper took too many steps. He ran, absolutely tore out through the Cork players, but took an awful lot of steps in doing so. So free to Cork, Dan Dineen once again. Now, he had a free from the 20 metre line in the first half, straight in front of the post, and he decided to go for goal, and Dermot Hogan blocked it. Will he be tempted again? No, decides to take the sensible option and fire it over the bar and fire Cork 5 points ahead. Great catch in the centre of the field for Tipperary. And the referee says he's going to throw this one in. That was a great catch there by Brian Hogan. But the referee decides to throw this one in. Cork win the clash there in the centre of the field, going as far as Michael Phelan, playing really well at cornerback. Well taken by Jonathan Alden in the centre of the field, as far as Dan Dineen. Dan Dineen 50 metres out, and Dan Dineen has hit his first point from play, but that's a great point by Dineen, whose free taking has been so good. But that shows what he's able to do from play as well. That's from about 55 metres out and straight over the bar. So Cork beginning to assert as Shane Sweeney hits this free for Tipperary into the wind. Timmy Lordan's helmet falls off in the middle of that exchange, and the ball eventually going to the Tipperary sub, Ronan O'Brien, and Ronan O'Brien hitting a good point for Tip. Ronan O'Brien has been introduced at right corner forward for Simon Everard, and that's Tip's first score of the second half. There's Ronan O'Brien hitting a good point off his left over the bar. Once again, it's Dan Dineen for Cork from outside the 65, and it seems as if no matter what the distance is, this man is going to be putting him over, and that's another point. That's 13 points for Cork, 7 points for Tipperary. Cork once again with Owen Conley. As far as Tyke Healy, good ball up the centre. As far as Colin O'Reilly. Colin O'Reilly turning onto the right hand, and O'Reilly has hit his second point of the game. Good score by Colin O'Reilly, one of 2 Blackrock players who started the game in the forward line for Cork. A little bit clumsy getting the ball into his hand, into his left hand, but succeeded in doing so and hit it over the bar. Another free to Cork. It's been a free-ridden game throughout, no great fluency in the play, as this ball lands right at the edge of the square and it hops over the bar. Colin O'Reilly went for it with Michael Phelan, nobody touched it, and Dan Dineen's free hops over the bar, lofted it very high, wind took it, it's going to drop, nobody touches it, and it goes over the bar. So eventually it's decided it's a 65 for Tipperary. Brian Hogan will take this one just to the right of the posts. Hogan sending it in, and that's a very good point by Brian Hogan over the bar. So 7 points between the sides. Cork 15, Tipperary 8, and Tipperary needing something dramatic to happen in the shape of a goal pretty quickly as Cork go into the attack once again. Ty Healy's cut into the centre, taken by the centre back Shane Mahabut is possessed and it goes to Colin O'Reilly, and Colin O'Reilly fires this one over the bar. That's his 3rd point of the game, and Cork leads 16 points to 8. Colin O'Reilly picking up that ball and firing it over the bar. Brian Hogan once again in the centre of the field for Tipperary, but the ball goes to Paul McGrath. He gets his shoulder, but the referee has blown his whistle for a free for Cork. And this one, Desi Fitzgerald, the Charleville player, will take from inside his own half of the field. And really the game beginning to peter out, even though there's plenty of time left for Tipperary if they could get a goal to get back into the game. But Cork looking comfortable throughout the second half as Desi Fitzgerald fires this free down the centre, breaks in to the corner towards Seamus Hayes. Seamus Hayes getting past Brian Lawler and hitting it over the bar, even though Lawler did well to keep him outside him for as long as he could. But Seamus Hayes getting that ball, making a bit of an angle for himself, eventually gets that little bit of space and fires a good ball over the bar. Cork once again, Paul McGrath down the centre towards Seamus Hayes, goes towards Colin O'Reilly. Tipperary full back Damien O'Brien trying to get it away. Eventually Conor O'Brien is there for Tip, and now the centre back Shane Maher has played well at centre back. Up as far as Declan Maher tackled by 2 Cork players, fouled, the referee says, and Maher put it down quickly, tempted to drive it into the square early, but now decides to leave it altogether. Brian Hogan, the player who was facing up to this one, he hit a 65 over the bar just before this one, and there's his 2nd point of the game. Brian Hogan has reduced the leeway to 8 points and a sideline to Tipperary. Ball as far as Hogan. Hogan firing this one into the centre. Ball breaks down, pulled on first time by Ron O'Brien. Great save by Anthony Nash. O'Brien onto the ball again, and the referee says he was fouled. And again, not much of a foul there, I'd imagine, but the referee has blown and has decided this is a Tipperary free from the 20-metre line. There's the ball broken down by John Lahey. Ron O'Brien pulls in the first time, and there's a great save from Anthony Nash. John Lahey to take the 20-metre line. No doubt what he's going to do with it, and drives it and is crept into the net off the hurley of Anthony Nash, and the goal that Tipperary wanted so badly they've got from John Lahey's 20-metre free. 17 points for Cork, 1-9 for Tipperary. Here comes the free from Lahey. Watch the flight of the ball as Anthony Nash goes to meet it. Somebody got a hurley in there, but it crept into the corner of the net, and so Tipperary get that goal, but it's Cork who come back into the attack immediately. Paul McGrath, still Paul McGrath gone past Evan Hanley, hand pass to the wing as far as Rory O'Doherty, and Rory O'Doherty with a Cork point immediately on top of that Tipperary goal. 18 points Cork, 1-9 Tipperary. There's the run by Paul McGrath, the hand pass to O'Doherty, and O'Doherty making no mistake from outside the 20-metre line. An immediate response for Cork. Brian Hogan firing the ball upfield as far as Tyke Slevin. Tyke Slevin and Liam Hayes battling for it. Hayes gets a hurley to it, goes as far as Declan Maher. Maher tried to make his way in along the end line. Hit it low, cross goal, goes as far as John Leahy, but a great bit of stealing there by Brendan Walsh, the Cork right half back, just picking away from John Leahy. There's the ball blocked out. Leahy tries to control it, and there's Brendan Walsh. Tyke Slevin into the centre. As far as Shane McGrath, still Shane McGrath trying to work his way through. The ball blocked off the stick of the Cork cornerback Rory McCarthy. 65 for Tipperary, and Tipperary trying really hard to force another goal right at the end of this game. Conor O'Brien to take the 65, lobbing it in, but well taken in there by the Cork defence, and the referee Pat Moore says that's the end of the action. So at the end of a game that never rose to any great heights, it's Cork who are the Munster Intermediate Hurling Champions for 2004 on a scoreline of Cork 18 points, Tipperary 1 goal and 9.
And now it's a great pleasure to present
the cup now being presented to the Cork captain, the Bride Rovers man, Brendan Walsh.
Yes, Darren Dineen given a great exhibition of score taking there, scoring 9 points of Cork's total. And not even the introduction of the great John Leahy for Tipperary could save them in the end. We're taking a short break now. Coming up, the Munster Junior Football Final, Waterford versus Cork.